I know you love me, that's so comforting. Won't choose, you want me, take my hand and know me better. I know you love me, that's so comforting. Won't choose, you want me, take my hand and know me better. I know you love me, that's so comforting. But we are stuck to accept you, take my hand and know me better. Hey, know me better, love me better. Hey, take me better, love me better.
It's the Transformational Parenteen show with Mute Olori.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the program Transformational Parenting Show with Mute Olori. I'm very excited. Today we're going to be diving into a very poignant topic that touches the hearts of many. Building a supportive community for parents navigating with children and the challenges raising a child that is struggling with addiction. Our hope is that through shared experiences and experts' insights, we can illuminate a path towards understanding, compassion, and resilience. We are honored to have a very compassionate guest with us who will share with us his knowledge and, of course, helping us to know the know-how in fostering supportive communities for such parents. My guest is Ambassador Kenneth Anetor, the Executive Director of a New Thing International Foundation with almost a decade of experience in non-profit sector. He is a certified trainer of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, has a certificate for understanding addiction, identification, counseling, and treatment of opioid use disorder from Harvard Medical School. In 2023, Kenneth Anetor was appointed as the ambassador of the Senate Committee on Drugs and Narcotics to serve as a consultant for the Joint Committee on Drugs and Narcotics of the National Assembly. Meet my guests. Thank you for joining us today.
It's the Transformational Parenteen show with Mute Olori.
All right, thank you very much for joining us, Ambassador Kenneth
Anetor,
Anetor, right? Thank you. All right, so why is it crucial for parents of children struggling with addiction to have a supportive community?
It's important so that we can give them an opportunity to come out from addiction, because addiction can make them feel as if they have no one in the world, they have no place to turn to, and it can lead them to delve deeper and deeper into the addictions that they face. So it's important that we have platforms like this. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I don't take it for granted. That we have platforms like this that we can enlighten people. We can scatter the myths, the misconceptions that they have about addiction so that they can be more open-hearted towards this. When we look at the statistics in Nigeria concerning addiction, we know that for every 7 person, 1 person in the last 1 year has experimented with drugs. For every 4 persons that has experimented with drugs, 1 person has a substance use disorder, and for every 4 people using drugs, 1 is a woman. And women go faster from casual drug usage to problematic drug usage, especially when they inject drugs, because most time when women use drugs, they tend to use it with multiple partners. So now, when we look at that statistic, let us know that if you say 1 in 7, that means in our extended families, at least, or even in some of our nuclear households, we will always find 1 person that has tried using drugs in the last 1 year. So now, our disposition towards substance use is important. It can be the reason that someone's experimentation goes into substance use disorder. And by definition, substance use disorder is a chronic relapsing brain disorder characterized by a person going after a particular drug of choice, regardless of how it affects himself, how it affects his family, and how it affects his society. So, our perception of drug use is important. It can be the reason that someone will say, I can't talk to anybody, and he'll keep turning to the people that are using the drugs, diving deeper. or how the person, okay, let me talk to my mom, let me talk to my dad about this thing.
No, you just said something now that is key to me, which is the tendency for someone who is into addiction or into drugs feeling lonely and alone. What are the challenges that they really face that leads them to isolation?
No, I was with my niece yesterday, and we were shopping, and she said, nobody understands me. Immediately I told her, stop. What did you say? Said nobody. Say I understand you. Everybody understands me. Sometimes they can have these thoughts in their head. Sometimes they can have these feelings. It might be puberty. It might be stress from work. It might be economic challenges that are not that is not isolated to one person. Everybody passes through these things, but they might not have a way of expressing themselves, and this might lead to substance abuse. Apart from that, I would not categorically say that someone will have stress at work is what will lead to drugs. There are other risk factors that can lead to that. Other risk factors, like the person might come from a family that they have prolonged drug use. In our study at Harvard, our professor spoke about the neurology of addiction. It explains, that theory says that if someone comes from a family where the grandfather had drug use, the father had drug use, the drug use, since it's a chronic relapsing brain disorder, is a brain challenge. So it actually damages parts of the brain. And those parts of the brain can be transferred from one generation to another generation. Yes. In such a manner that if person comes across the particular drug that a family member had used, that person might be more susceptible to becoming addicted to that particular drug compared to someone else who their family does not have any history of drug usage.
So it is possible that something in your brain could say, this is familiar.
This is familiar. That's what I'm saying. So that's why our professor also spoke about, they say there are families that they said their grandfather is an alcoholic. The father is an alcoholic. See the son now. The son has started doing drugs too.
Are there specific signs that parents can look out for to identify if their child is struggling with one form of addiction, or the other? But our focus now is like drugs addiction, because that's what is predominant now. So how can a parent identify that it seems my child is struggling with an addiction?
First of all, let me debunk what is a drug. A drug is anything that changes the normal behavior of a person. It can be man-made or natural occurring. In Nigeria, the way the NDLA will define it is if you take a drug without a doctor's prescription, one. Two, if you have a doctor's prescription and you take it different from the prescription, the person says, okay, I have a meeting this morning and I will not have time in the evening, I will have time in the afternoon. So since I'm meant to take 3 spoons of Benelin with codeine, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, the person says, let me take all at once.
Okay.
So now, that is abuse. The third one is if you are caught with a drug that is not legal in the region or the territory. Like there are some drugs that are not legal in Nigeria, they have been legalized in other places. So now, when we dive into that question, you would notice that a child that was very, very close and open with you, the child would always come back home, want to come close to the parent, want to come close to the mom. Now the child begins to keep space from the mom. I'm not saying that these things that I'm going to say are not, like if the person just does one, you say this person is doing drugs. But when you see 2, 3, 4 on this list I'm going to be mentioning, you can begin to say, let me inquire more, let me get closer to find out. Now the child will always come home because the person knows that they're doing something that's not right, that's not good. The person will naturally keep distance from the parents. The person was always lively with the family. Now the person wants to be in that room 24/7. It could be puberty, it could be something else, but it's worth looking into. Now, the person would start having drug-related paraphernalia with them. You see a lighter with it. What are you doing with lighter? You see Rizla, you might see syringes, you might see drugs, drug-related paraphernalia with the person. Someone that was always cheerful, now the person has mood swings from happy to sad, from sad to happy. The person might want to always wear a cap to cover his eyes. The person might always want to wear a hoodie. Even inside the house, the person wants to wear dark shades. You might see Vicine to make the eyes white. You might see sudden outburst of anger, someone that doesn't eat much, the appetite might change. The person that was the most gentle person in school for teachers, now he comes to school and he wants to fight every student. The person might start having challenges with law enforcement, because sometimes to get some of the substances, you might have to go into bunkers, all these nefarious places, mix with nefarious individuals. You start to see the circle of the person change, start to relate with people that you don't feel he's in the same age range with them, that you don't feel that you should have anything to do with them. So you see a lot of changes. One might be isolated, two might be isolated, but you see 3, 4, 5 of this particular thing that I'm talking about, you begin to know that this person has maybe started experimenting. When you have those boxes, when you tick like 2, person is having a challenge, or when a person hits like 5, he needs treatment.
So how does early detection or intervention help parents, to help their children?
It's important that we sensitize. This what we're doing now is going to make a lot of people begin to think, a lot of people begin to reason and begin to intervene. We believe that our children are intelligent. That's the truth. These kids nowadays, they have access to internet, they have information.
Are you telling
but
me?
the information is not usually correct.
That's true.
The best thing that we can do is to share facts. Whenever I go to address people, I was at Kaduna with the speaker. The speaker had a program in Kaduna, and we were talking to students. And we usually have an interactive session. We don't come and like we're preaching or we're speaking. They'll say we're speaking over their heads. We interact with them. We get to know the information they have, the things that and we begin to let them know the right facts. A lot of them hear stories and myths, and they mix it all together. Then they begin to experiment to get the right information. But when parents can sit down and have factual conversations with them. I was talking with an NDLA officer. She had sensitized her children on different types of drugs, told the children the effects of this drug, and the child was in primary school. When they were in primary school, somebody came and carried like 4 boys to the toilet. And when they went to the toilet, said that, see this drug, if you take it, you'll be strong. Any teacher that talked to you, slap the teacher. Said, okay. They started giving them one. The boy that had been sensitized said, I know this drug. This is Valium. If you take it, you will sleep. Said, no. You know this. They argued. I said, okay, I won't say anything. No. So all of them took the drug. There was one boy that was a sickle cell, this person. So he took 2 of the tablets. So they were inside class. Class was going on. The boy slumped. As the boy slumped, the teacher was confused, didn't know what to do, was shouting, what happened? The boy said, they are taking drugs. Said, how do you know they are taking drugs? They held that one, brought that one. Said, who are the ones taking drugs? He pointed all of them out. They brought them out. What drugs are they taking? This thing. They called all their parents. They found out that it was Valium. That's how they were able to help that boy. If that kid had not been sensitized, he would have probably been part of them sleeping or having issues that he would have not been able to speak out. So it's important that we give our children the right information. This would be the equipment that they can use to fend off all this negative, all this peer pressure, all these things that could come that way.
And that means those parents should also have access to right information.
Yes.
So how do you think, especially parents who are struggling right now, how do you think they can access resources or information that will aid them to aid the children?
First of all, you can contact us in the International Foundation. That's one. We're always available to talk. Our numbers are online. You can reach out on social media. You can even Google my name. You get my contacts. Secondly, in 2020, 2020, because of the substance abuse issues and the health challenges that went around it, especially the mental health challenges, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime launched the Drug Help Net. They got a lot of agencies, our sister agencies that are into counseling, that are into talking to individuals, and they set up this according to geographical zones and geopolitical zones, and they wrote their names, their numbers online. If you just Google Drug Help Net, you're able to find a healthcare practitioner in your region that you can talk to. Also, the NDLA, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, has a toll-free helpline that you can reach out to and you can talk to. The thing is that these informations are out there, but sometimes some people just get drowned in these things that they don't know how to reach out. And nobody wants to talk. Nobody wants to talk because of the way our society is. I have scenarios of a mother, and she told me that as soon as she started telling people that her son is doing drugs, she was looking for help from her friends, that all of them started cutting ties with her. And said now she's lonely. It's important where you seek your help. Seek your help from trained professionals.
Anyway, we're going to come to that and talk about how communities can really help to break this stigma associated with parents who need the kind of support that we're talking about today.
Yes.
All right, we'll take a break. While we go on our short break, I want you to ponder on this statistics. It shows that according to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, about 19.3 million people aged between 12 and above are battling with substance use disorder. Not only in the United States of America, but in Africa in the year 2020. And understanding the prevalence of these issues emphasizes the need for communities to come together to support parents navigating these challenges. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, transformational parenting again.
Oh my, hey. I know you love me, that's so comforting. Won't choose, you want me, take my hand and know me better. I know you love me, that's so comforting. Won't choose, you want me, take my hand and know me better. I know you love me, that's so comforting. But we are stuck except you take my hand and know me better. Hey, know me better, love me better. I know you love me, that's so comforting. Won't choose, you want me, take my hand and know me better. I know you love me, that's so comforting. Won't choose, you want me, take my hand and know me better. I know you love me, that's so comforting. But we are stuck except you take my hand and know me better.
It's the Transformational Parenting show with Mute Olori.
Now, what strategy can parents use effectively to communicate with a child about this addiction and to have an open dialogue with those who are already in it?
Be their friends. Be your children's friends. Be passive. When you practice active listening, talk to them as a friend. When they bring up information, don't feel like, hey. Just keep going, getting the information, and later you can discuss it, share. Because children would say something, and they'll watch your reaction. When you react the wrong way, you are never going to hear anything from that child again. You just say, Mommy, this. I have younger ones that I interact with. So I always watch their responses. Sometimes we can be discussing something. It will be sharp in your ear. But if you want to keep hearing, you have to just act passive. Listening to them actively, react passively. Listening to them actively, react passively. We're in school today, somebody even started smoking. Somebody started smoking. What are they? No, you have missed it. You have missed it. Somebody started smoking. Okay, is that what they do in the school these days? Say, no, it's not like that. It's not like that. They did it. Be calm. Let them tell you what is going on. Then now, talk to them, advise them. Later, you can develop the way you're going to intervene. But at that point, be able to let them open up to you, because the thing about human beings is that we're social creatures. We must talk. Make sure that your children are talking to you. They must talk. They will have somebody. It's either they will share it with, if you have a mate, can't tell the mate, hey, and the mate is, or they will tell their siblings. But make sure that you are the one that your children are talking to you. It's very important. A lot of people that have fathers are pastors, they can't talk to their father. Their father is an imam, they can't talk. But there are some families that the fathers, in as much as they're pastors, they're also psychologists, so they know how to get information from you. Just be calm. Listen actively, react passively.
That is one difficult thing that a lot of parents, find hard to do. But
Especially
you've heard
in Africa.
Listen actively, right? And
React passively.
passively. All right. So how can friends and families, extended families, community members, how can they be a part of this supportive community that we are talking about? Like you mentioned, the lady that told her friends, but I'm sure she was trying to practice this, and then everybody kept away from her.
Yes,
What role? How important is their role in building this supportive community?
It's not even so much as their own role. It's the role of the whole society. From every intervention, along the intervention value chain, everybody has a part to play. I and my team would go to schools, go to communities, sensitizing them. At the legislative level, we'll work with policymakers to develop policies that can make the challenges that drug users more light, look at things like that. The media continue to give out the right information. Sometimes the media sensationalizes stories about substance abuse, like to sell papers, but it's destroying the mindset of people. So everybody has a part to play. If you look at I became passionate about another area of substance abuse in terms of the gender dimension. So I took up a mentor, Mommy Kenneth, that started enlightening me about the challenges. When I delved into it, I realized that for every 20 person that is treated for substance use disorder in Nigeria, only one is a woman. And women already go faster from casual drug usage to problematic drug usage, because when women, especially the ones that inject drugs, use drugs, they do it with multiple partners. So women have a bigger risk of substance abuse. And women are so dynamic in such a manner that a woman can be using drugs, but she will meet all the responsibilities in the house. And the children tend to watch their mothers. They'll see that, you are telling me that drug use is bad, but my mother is using drugs, but she still cooks for me, pick me up, this thing. Then in the night, she'll say, I just need to rest. So they're seeing the disparity in the information that you're giving to them. But women, in terms of treatment, for every 20 persons treated in Nigeria, we have about almost 80-something treatment centers in the whole country, which is not enough already. And the cost of treatment is between 300,000 to about 5 million naira for a month.
So we need everybody to really be involved.
To be involved in it.
How do we build that community?
That's what we need. People to understand the challenges. The reason women are not getting treatment is because of the stigma.
And
when
silence,
a woman wants
cultural
to go,
silence.
Yes, when a woman wants to go into treatment, she faces stigma from fellow drug users, according to statistics, from the caregivers, even the caregivers in the hospital. You are a woman, your mate are at home, you are here inside rehab. Even when she goes through that treatment, reintegration into society, she faces stigma again from the community members. We need to understand that substance use disorder is not a moral challenge. It's not that you have bad manners. It's not that there are so many risk factors that can make a person susceptible to using drugs. We already spoke about neurology of addiction.
Yes.
So someone's genetic signature can make a person susceptible to using drugs. The environment a person comes from can make a person susceptible to using drugs. There was a nurse, she was legitimately sick and she had issues and she was injecting a particular drug. After she had finished, she had recovered from it, she had challenges and she was just using the drug. She just got addicted to it. So she reached out to her colleagues in the hospitals and was like, doctor, this is the challenge I have. They just sacked her.
Ooh.
They just sacked her. To sack her to go and do what? We need to begin to give
her
this
to even get
get worse. Yes.
Go into depression and then begin to have suicidal thoughts.
So these are the things we need to let people know, that it's not a moral challenge. It's not the person is bad upbringing. There are so many things that can make the person susceptible to these things. And the statistics show that most people that do these criminal activities, they're not on drugs. They are highly coordinated. They don't go and do operation. You think they're high. They're not high. They're smart. Most people that engage in prostitution, if you look at the statistics, a lot of them are not on drugs. So people have this disposition that people that are doing drugs are criminals, are this. You'll be surprised to know that the civil servants, some of them are on drugs. Some of the doctors in the hospital working 48-hour shifts, some of them are on drugs. Some of the people that are driving the commercial vehicles that have to go and come back, some of them are on drugs. But everybody is hiding because of the scenario I've painted. So the media that has the responsibility of refining the mindset of our generation has a crucial role to play. That's why I'm very happy to be here.
And that's why we're happy to do this. Thank you so much,
It's a pleasure.
Ambassador Kenneth, for sharing those scary, scary but honest statistics on where we are and the need for all of us to be our brother's keeper. If you know anyone struggling with the children or raising a child that's with addiction, instead of stigmatizing that person and be the community gossip about what is going on with that person, let's see how we can come together to be supportive. It may not be showing you your child today, but you never know if your child or that person in your home is actually in any form of drug addiction. Together, we can make this work. And I think being a community would reduce the effect of these challenges and struggles than us looking at it like it's your business and not my business. It may not be your business today, but when it becomes a community business, then it becomes a societal menace. Thank you so much once more for sharing these thoughts with us on the Transformational Parenting Show today. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. I'll be here again next week with another guest and another topic. But remember, I am here to transform you and helping to inspire hope in every family. Helping one parent every day. I'll see you again next week. My name is Mute Olori. Bye-bye.
Hey, transformational parenting again.
Oh my, hey, hey. I know you love me, that's so comforting. Won't choose, you want me, take my hand and know me better.